morning everyone, my name is Esl Vs Purnami. I'm from 5B class. Today I will deliver my understanding about ESL and EFL. So first, ESL. ESL is stand for English as a second language. You should underline phrase second language. So English is used as a second language. The learner already learned their mother tongue, then continue to their second language. Meanwhile, EFL is stand for English as a foreign language. You should underline phrase foreign language. The learner already learned their mother tongue, then continue to their second language, and then continue to their foreign language, that is English. Me, for example, my mother tongue is Balinese. Then I learn my second language, that is Bahasa. Then I continue to learn English as my foreign language. So is there any difference between ESL and EFL? Of course, they are different. So I will explain it from 4 perspectives. So the first perspective is a place to learn. So English as a second language has a wider place to learn. It can be learned from school, in educational sectors. It also can be learned in the society. It can be learned in your house with your parents. It also can be learned in trade sectors. So as a second language, English has a wider place to learn because English has communicative and social function in a society. In a school, you can learn it from your teachers, your students, also your friends also, because most of the time they using English a lot because English used as an intermediate language. So the subject are explained with English. Meanwhile, in the society, you can talk with your neighbor with English, and then you can learn it also from there. Then you can joining a course to learn English. You can join a course in English speaking countries such as in Australia, America, England. You can learn from that. And then it also can be learned in trade sectors because you getting used to English. The place to learn is very diverse. Meanwhile, in EFL, it has a narrow scope to learn English. You just can learn it from your school, inside your class when you get English subject, and then you can learn it from the clubs, English clubs. Just there, just that, only in the class and the club. You also can joining a course, English course that are available in your country. Then the second perspective is the teacher. The teacher of ESL and EFL is very different. So according to Peng in 2019, ESL teacher mostly using student-centered approach. So the core of the activities is the students. Meanwhile, in EFL, the teacher is using a teacher-centered approach. So the core of the activity in the class is the teacher. Besides that, EFL teachers is local people. For example, my EFL teachers is a Balinese. So I cannot get the accents of English such as British accents, American accents, or Australian accent because my teachers is local people. So my accent will follow his or her accents. For example, my ESL teacher is Balinese. My EFL teacher is Balinese. Then my accents will be Balinese also. But in EFL, the teacher is a native speaker, so you get his accents, also the fluency. And then the third perspective is the exposure. Exposure means is the contact between the learner or the students with the language. ESL and EFL has different exposure. The exposure of ESL is more wider, more extensive than EFL. As what I said before, because ESL has social and communicative function in society, you get wider exposure. It can be comes from the society, of course. It can be come from the educational sectors, trade sectors, and then also with your parents. So the exposure is very diverse. For the example, when you're watching a TV, then the language of the actors or actress in the TV is English. Then you listening to radio, and then the radio using English. So the exposure is very diverse, and it is very different with EFL. Because English is used as a foreign language, your exposure just comes from the inside the class when you get subject, English subject, and also it comes from your clubs when you're joining English clubs or in your course. Or maybe sometimes you met a foreigner or tourist, the exposure come from them. So it is very different. Then the fourth perspective is the opportunity to use English. ESL has wider opportunity. You can use it in society, in your neighborhood, in educational sectors, of course, in your house. But EFL is very narrow. ESL has limited opportunity. You can just only use it inside your class, and then in your course, in your club, or maybe when you meet a foreigner. So between exposure and the opportunity is related. Okay, and then here I want to explain. For example, me myself, I live in Indonesia, so English is a foreign language. For example, I go abroad to English-speaking country. For example, I go to Australia and I live there. Then my English is considered as a second language. Why? Because I use it most of the time there. I use it English frequently. Usually I using English there than my mother tongue. I use English to survive and to communicate in Australia. Then I only using my mother tongue with my parents inside the house. So it is considered as a second language. But if you are only take a short time in another country, in another English speaking country, then it is still considered as EFL because you joining a crash course. It is for a short time, not long time as a immigrant. So I think that's all from the difference of ESL and EFL. Thank you for watching and goodbye.